In today's video, we're breaking down one of my favorite scalping VWAP strategies. This one gives you a really good organic risk-reward ratio that you can attack futures, stocks, and penny stocks with. Make sure to stick around. What's up, team? It's John with BT, and we're back today so you can improve your trading game. Like I said in the intro, in today's video, we're breaking down my absolute favorite VWAP scalping strategy. I tested it in the futures market this past week with some really great results you can see here. I think the reason it works so well is because it's incredible at identifying obvious strength or weakness so you can attack it and run up your trading account. But before we take a look at that, if you want to help support your boy here, you can hit the like, hit the sub button below, and go check out Top Step. They are a funded account program for futures, and if you can prove you're profitable, they'll fund you anywhere between $30K up to over $100K. You can get 20% off, and they funded almost $2 million to payouts for their traders this year alone. Check the link out in the description. Let's take a look at this really profitable strategy. To be a good scalper in any market, you have to accept that you may sometimes miss broader moves and you may leave money on the table. And that's okay, because with scalping, you're taking advantage of an edge in accuracy instead and using that to profit in the market. And so with my scalping style and system, I'm always using confirmation. This is looking for areas of a specific chart that have a certain level confirmed or tested with success. And in trading, we just mean if a level has been respected in the history of that chart, holding support or resistance over and over again at a specific level. And to identify these confirmed levels, we're looking at the intraday chart, watching pre-market, after hours, as well as market hours, and then looking at the longer term chart sometimes as well, trying to determine and identify big levels in that stock or security's history. Now, aside from this, the other element of this type of scalping system is using the VWAP specifically to identify a short-term trend to attack. We definitely do not want to see choppy neutral action with the stock or security chopping over or under the VWAP like this, but instead we want to identify things to trade that are respecting trends instead. This is evident when a stock respects the trend, maintaining in a direction either above or below the VWAP. And this is really powerful because once we can identify that direction, we can get ready to attack it in our own trading. And so now that we've broken this down in an understandable way, at least tried to, let's look at a few on-demand examples now. Okay, so for my first example, I'm looking for a stock that's maintaining in a specific direction. You can see I'm using this one to trade futures on the E-mini, and I'm watching the SPY to do so. And so first, we want to see the market or the stock or security you're trading maintaining a specific direction. In this example, we can see it maintaining in an upward direction, confirming the upward trend, respecting the VWAP multiple times. But when we get this big drastic drop underneath the VWAP, we start to notice and watch for whether it's going to change trends here. Once we see the stock actually start to move back up, confirming that it's not going to change trends, that it's going to maintain in an upward trend, and specifically pull back to the VWAP, we have the trend confirmation. It looks so strong for the stock to push all the way back above the VWAP, confirming that same upward trend it's been in, that we can then dip buy for a long setup on the small pullback after that. And this is really profitable and also has a really high accuracy rate by waiting for that pullback to happen and waiting for that upward trend here to confirm, and then seeing all the strength come in. Buying right after that makes a lot of sense, especially on small pullbacks, and then taking profit at the resistance above us turns it into a really powerful trade. On another example here, we're going to see the opposite of what we saw in that last trade. Instead of attacking a stock or security on the upside, we're going to look for a scalping VWAP play on the downside. And so you can see this one was maintaining a downward trend, and that way we know we're going to attack a short, considering it confirmed below the VWAP numerous times and rejected every test of the VWAP we saw previously. And so once we get that, and when we finally start to break above the VWAP and it looks like it might change trends, we wait for confirmation of this downward trend. And so when we see the big rejection underneath the VWAP, we then look to short into it, because that big rejection here and kind of confirmation of the VWAP shows so much weakness that we can attack a short on any little bounce back up to the VWAP area. And that's all we're really trying to do here. We're looking for obvious weakness with a lot of downward pressure, and then we're looking for small bounces that we can short into, taking quick profit into support beneath us, and it works really well. The next one is another short example, and again, prior to getting into this trade, we identify a downward trending stock that is respecting the VWAP. And so when we see it start to push above the VWAP and ultimately fail, we get a lot of weakness on the downside. And this weakness is really the identifying factor. This is what we're looking to attack on the short side because this weakness is so obvious. So once we identify and see that weakness, the next step once we break underneath here is to look for a small bounce to the VWAP, which is where we're going to enter our short position. Another thing I really like about these type of trades is that they give you really solid organic risk reward ratios. You can see that level right above us here. That can be our risk level. And so if we break over that, we could just stop out of the trade and move on to the next. But if it goes in our direction, we have a much larger range to attack, giving us good risk reward of at least 2 to 1 or better most of the time here. So once we take the short position on the small bounce to the VWAP, we look for a rejection around the VWAP area and we try to ride it down to the support levels underneath us. This is where I really like using half or whole dollars, and so if we have a big whole dollar or half dollar level that was confirmed previously below us, that's usually where I try to take my profit or at least take a partial position covering to protect the trade. Once I do that, I usually just write it down to the next big levels that have confirmed on the chart on that specific day. And for our last example, we'll look at another long setup this time. You can see we were maintaining a nice upward trend prior to this move and prior to us entering the trade, and once we broke underneath the VWAP, attempting to change trends, and then we're strong enough to actually push all the way back up and break above the VWAP again. Once we see that strength, that identifying strength, we look for a small pullback to the VWAP for us to enter our long position. And similar to the last one, we have a tight risk level below us. We can use that previous low as a risk level, and so if we break underneath that, we can understandably stop out and have a losing trade. But as long as we hold at the support level and continue pushing up, we'll have a pretty tight risk and a pretty big reward level to take advantage of in this type of trade, and it works really, really well. But even if we delve into Friday's results in futures, you can see every time the SPY rejected underneath the VWAP and then pulled back to it, I got a decent short opportunity. It's a really high percentage play. You just have to be disciplined enough to wait for it. And if you are, it can work out pretty solid. Anyways, team, that's it for this one. Remember, if you want to help support me, go check out Top Step. They're a funded account program for futures. They've paid to their traders almost $2 million this year alone, and they're regulated in the US. You can get 20% off by going through my link, and that's in the description. Remember to take it slow and steady. If you are going to trade these strategies, test them first with small size to make sure they work for you, because I know they worked for me, but they're not universal. Good luck in the market, guys. We'll see you all next time. Have a good day. Run those like and subscribe numbers up, and we'll see you all later.